So can one moment in a debate change an entire election? It was nearly 50 years ago when President Gerald Ford had a lot at stake as he faced an aggressive Democratic challenger, Jimmy Carter. Going into the second debate in October 1976, Ford had cut into Carter's lead in the polls, and then he said this.
There is no Soviet domination of Eastern Europe, and there never will be under a Ford administration.
At the time, of course, Eastern Europe was still very much confined behind the Soviet Union's Iron Curtain. It had been for decades. Joining us now, NBC News presidential historian Michael Beschloss. I know President Ford didn't mean it that way, but of course that was a gaffe, and that's the way it came out. And it changed history because it really changed the course of that campaign.
Carter won the presidency in 1976, as you know, by a hairbreadth. If Ford had not made a statement like that, he probably would have been reelected president, and the whole arc of history could have changed. As you know, what he was trying to say was that the United States will not accept Soviet domination of Eastern Europe. But instead, people heard him say, Soviets don't dominate Eastern Europe. They said, well, maybe Ford, who's boasting about his foreign policy credentials, is not as smart as we thought he was.
And let's listen to a clip from one that I remember very well. 1988 was the last debate between Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis during the '88 campaign against Vice President George H.W. Bush.
Governor, if Kitty Dukakis were raped and murdered, would you favor an irrevocable death penalty for the killer?
No, I don't, Bernard, and I think you know that I've opposed the death penalty during all of my life. I don't see any evidence that it's a deterrent, and I think there are better and more effective ways to deal with violent crime.
So I was on that panel. In that debate, there were questions about the nuclear weapons, about the budget deficits. The only thing anyone remembers from that debate is Bernie Shaw asking him that question and Michael Dukakis answering, robotically. How did that impact the race?
Well, we both knew Bernie Shaw. I asked him the next week why he asked that question. And he said, well, George H.W. Bush, as we now call him, has been calling Dukakis the Iceman. I was trying to give him an opportunity to show that he was more human. And instead of saying, if someone raped and murdered my wife, I want to go out with a spike club, he gave a response that sounded as if it was, destined for the Brookline, Massachusetts Chamber of Commerce, suggested that perhaps Bush was right, that Dukakis did not have the kind of human qualities that people like in president.
And Dukakis' numbers plummeted, and the rest is history, as they say. Another memorable moment, Ronald Reagan, Walter Mondale debating in October of '84. Reagan had stumbled in their first debate. The narrative then had become Reagan's at 73 is too old to be president. It was the lead story in the Wall Street Journal the day after. So the issue came up, of course, in the second debate. Reagan was so ready with a well-rehearsed quip. Let's watch.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Even Mondale laughed, and it put to rest the age issue.
Well, Mondale laughed, but I talked to him later, and I said, what were you really thinking when Reagan made that joke? And Mondale said, if you look really closely at the pictures and video, I'm laughing, but I also had tears in my eyes because I knew that that moment was the end of the campaign and that Reagan would win.
So let me take you to 1992, another memorable debate, this one in Charlottesville, three-way race. Ross Perot was in it, a debate with George H.W. Bush, then the president, Bill Clinton, the challenger. And it's a round table. Carol Simpson was the moderator from NBC. And a question is asked by a woman about her economic struggles. And Bill Clinton gets off his stool, breaks the format, walks over to her, and shows empathy. Let's watch.
Tell me how it's affected you again. You know people who lost their jobs and lost their homes. I have seen what's happened in this last 4 years when, in my state, when people lose their jobs, there's a good chance I'll know them by their names. When a factory closes, I know the people who ran it. When the businesses go bankrupt, I know them.
So nothing like that's going to happen tonight. It's going to be very controlled, at least on paper. It is a studio audience for the first time since the Kennedy-Nixon debates, but the microphone muting is another issue. What are your expectations, Michael?
Well, I expect that what you will see is each candidate trying to show his best self and trying to goad the other guy into showing his worst self. You know, for instance, 1992, Clinton was saying George H.W. Bush is a fine person as president, but he's been in office for 12 years and he's out of touch. Instead, Bush walked into the trap and said, I don't quite understand this question. And Clinton walks right up to this woman and says, I feel your pain. It drew that contrast in a way that helped Clinton a lot.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn. MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.